Thank you. Thank you also for inviting us. My name is Reitsema. I'm the Managing Director of Reitsema and Partners Architects. And today I'm presenting you the transformation of the Reitsema Church into a healthcare center of the Port of Borne. Who are we? We are a small office in the east of the Netherlands. And we work on offices, we work on schools, we work on airports, private houses, and we work also on churches. The situation, this is a small town of 20,000 people. It's called Borne. And this is the existing urban environment. It's not in the middle of the center, it's in the south of the city. There is a church, and it became empty. This is a church. It's constructed in 1935. It was by Architecten. It's a brick church. And it's really beautiful from the inside, the brick ceilings. And the church was also very meaningful, a meaningful place to the people, the community. It was a place of emotions, weddings, funeral, baptism. Before we started the project, there was a lot of discussion already over this building. You can see in the original sections of the original architects the quality of the ceilings and the brick ceilings. And when we started the project, it was not quite clear what the assignment was. And what we saw in our office that more and more churches in Northwest Europe will become vacant. And we need to find a new purpose for this religious building. And in Holland, it's quite common. They said every week there now is a church available. And we saw that a lot of churches are transformed into casinos, hotel, theaters, shopping malls. But there became resistance to this kind of second life from the community, but also from the diocese to use this kind of program. And together with the developer, we thought that the social purpose would fit the church, which is already embedded in the community very well. So we thought of a kindergarten, a school, a healthcare center. So the developer found a group of caregivers. And we thought if we do want to do this job very well, because also there was a social caregiving healthcare center, we have to be tight on the money. So we have to do an excursion. We took the caregivers and the client and also the municipality to some churches were already transformed. And we talked to the architect, to the people there, that it's going to be hard to do this job. To get it feasible, it's hard to remain spatial quality. It's like the middle picture. It's hard to read the church after the transformation. So as an office and also with the client, we had some challenges, some conclusions from this trip. It's generally considered expensive and complex to transform a church. And big spaces ask for a big program, not for small rooms. We had to make 75 small rooms of 10 square meters. It's hard to heat up an entire church and keep the energy costs low. And there's a critical balance between spatial quality and the required program. And daylight and artificial light play a crucial role. But there are also chances. Churches are already embedded in the local communities. Churches have a social function, and they're already meaningful to people. So we made an assignment, and we calculated, we were very transparent with the developer, that we needed 2,000 square meters of program in the original 1,100 square meter area. And we said to ourselves, we have to maintain for the municipality, that was the second assignment, the character and the spatial quality of the church. Also, we have to conform to the healthcare standards. We have to stimulate cooperation between parties. It must be affordable. We have to keep the maintenance costs and the energy costs low. Because of the visibility, we have to do it in 2 years. It has to be realistic. It has to be clear in access and routing. And we have to talk about 70 stakeholders, like the church, the municipality, the people around them. So there's also complex work of communication. The first thing we did, because of all the churches we visited, that we said, if you enter the building, you must still see the ceiling, the arches. That is something we have to keep in mind. And we studied, I think we make like 10, 20 different studies that because of the general practices, they need a lot of space. Every study we did it was hard to reach the spatiality of the room. So we came up with that idea, this concept, to make a square, a healthcare square, on multiple levels. So the caregivers will be surrounded around this healthcare square and also present themselves. So if you enter the building, you see all the caregivers immediately. And therefore we came also with the climate concept. We made the box-in-a-box system that we only insulate and heat up and cool down the offices from the doctors and the other therapists. And we leave the church like it is. So the climate is the same if you were sitting in the church in the former days. Then the design, here you see the ground floor. We made a small extension, very, very modest, for the general practitioners. You see the healthcare space, the healthcare square, the pharmacy, directly in the entrance, and the physiotherapist at the back. On the first floor, we have the public terrace. There's a place to meet. The offices for the other caregivers and the psychologist. And on the second floor, we have the therapy for the psychologist who needs more privacy. And here you see the section cut. You see how we can maintain the spatial quality in this building. What also was important was the construction. We learned from other architects and also the studying trips we did that foundation was very expensive. So we came up with the idea, together with the contractor and developer, to use this lightweight reinforced polystyrene elements. So we didn't need a heavy foundation, and we could also make more beautiful details in the building. These polystyrene elements are shotcreted and plastered. And therefore we can also make a lot of quality in acoustics, hygiene, elements, like we could use it for air and also for electronics and sensors. Then the Realize project. Here you see the front facade of the church, and you see already from the outside, because of the artificial light, that it has changed. And if you enter the building, this is what we want. You still see the arches, you still see the old building, but you also see the new building. You see where everything is. You immediately understand the building, how it works. And we have also made by the entrance and functional stairs and also an elevator, but because it was a healthcare center, we also want to stimulate that people use the stairs. So we try to make a beautiful stairs around the column, so people will take this stairs. And also, it must be also elegant, because the details of the church were very refined. So we want to also put new refined banisters and also make them transparent and light. And here you see the public terrace. In the pictures you don't see people yet because of private reasons, but now most days there are 80 people around it, and it's working with these people and this clean space perfectly. And this is the place where the kitchen is and where the people can have lunch and they can drink coffee. And from the public terrace, this is how you look back. You see the entrance, you see also the elevator and the stairs behind the elevator. And here you see also, we try to use the grid and also respect the grid of the original church, so we can also make nice joints, we make nice details, how to put in the new walls against the columns and the arches of the old church. Here you see a picture from the second floor, and you see also that you climb up the church, and people who live around this church can go into this church and come to a place where they've never been before. And this is, for the people who live there, quite something. And this is one of the therapy rooms. What we want is that every room in the building, all 75, has daylight. And in all 75 rooms, there are quality and elements and details from the old church. This was something that we really tried to accomplish. And the building is now used, and people are really happy with it. People even go there when they're not sick. And that's for us a compliment. And also they use it for other things. There was musical performances there. even a wedding, even was a couple who did their wedding again. They did a wedding in the old church, and they want to renew the vows because they think the church was so beautiful, and people from the neighborhood are really coming to this place. So we hope to inspire others how to reuse church buildings into community buildings, and also doing this without losing its spatial quality. Thank you.
This might be a rather general question, but when you repurpose a church for other uses, do you deconsecrate the ground?
Deconcentrate?
Consecrate.
Does the ground of a church have to be treated in a particular way in order for some other program to take place? Like, does it have to become de-religious?
Yeah. We have a special service therefore. I was there. It was quite emotional. People cried really when there was you said it's the last service of the church, and you de-bless the church. And also we have a lot of discussions with the community. I think we have like 10 meetings with the church, with the priest, with the people. We talked a lot about the church, and also there was already 2 services again from the church in the new building. So they're still using it as a church again. It was not the idea, but they do it now. It was a very emotional project. Yeah.
But I saw that you kept the baptize.
Yes.
Inside. So because it was there, you kept the position, or you just move it?
Well, it was a problem. We discussed with the diocese, and they took all the religious things out because they're from them. But it was too heavy. So we wanted, the idea was to put it out, but it was too heavy. It was like 18,000 kilos.
Okay.
So we have to keep it there. So
and what about the 2 circles that are floating in the air? Artwork?
It's artwork. It's about connecting, and it was a gift from the developer to the project. Yeah.
Okay. But the client was the municipality, was the community. I mean, which was the client? The money.
The client was a developer. It was also the client was very special. The client was a developer, and he was modest. He wants to have a small profit, and it was a competition, not about this project, to find an architect who was strategic, who has ideas of cost, and could make a little profit and keep the building. But it was not, the assignment was not yet. It was not there at the moment that we started the project. And we had a very transparent, also with the cost, with the developer, and what if we demolish the building? Can we keep the building? What if we do another purpose it is? So we had a lot of study in these 2 years of design, 1 year of design and 1 year of build, what kind of chances we had to keep the building and to place it in the community. This was a very interesting, not normal way of working for us.
I think that it's very interesting that you're resignifying this church. So, and as we saw the other examples that are terrible. So then how can you start, do you have more commissions like this to start doing this church in a good way, not in the...
Yeah, it's good that you say this. We were, 2 months ago, we were called by the Ministry of Belgium, and they said it was impossible to do this. How do you do this? So we're giving now lectures how to do this, because it was really a lot of study. It was really hard. And we have now a commission in Antwerp, in Belgium. We have a pilot to do the first church in social project in Belgium now, because of this project. And we do this also we're also training other Belgian architects how to do this. So we do it together, so we can scale up. So this, for us is also new, and this is also not what we expected, of course, what came out of this project. Yeah.